This past weekend, Cirque du CFL 4 went down in Florida, being preceded by the Invitational 3, which we've already covered. This is the fourth entry in the Cirque du CFL series, a tournament series that's garnered quite the reputation at this point. But regardless of all of that, we're here to look at one thing, the top 8 of Cirque 4. This tournament was quite stacked, very top heavy, and even still, the names that ended up making top 8 may shock you. With that said, let's get started with our top 8 recap, seeing how they got there and how they did within it. And as always, we'll be starting off by taking a look at Losers 8s, those sets being Peanut vs Lima and Spargo vs Tweak. Let's go ahead and start with Spargo and Tweak, shall we? I'm sure you're surprised to see both of these names in Losers bracket already, especially Spargo, who was coming into the tournament as the first seed. Spargo had a good start to the weekend too, sweeping pools flawlessly and actually 4-0ing his first opponent, so clearly he's on something else this weekend. And after moving into top 64, Spargo defeated Odyssey 3-1 and Goblin in a close call Game 5 set. Though his next close call would not go in his favor, with Spargo losing to T in yet another Game 5. The second time he's lost to the Kazuya this weekend, as he also lost to T's Kazuya at the Invitational 3. Either way, Spargo dropped into Losers bracket and lastly defeated Doramiki 3-1, entering into Losers side top 8. Tweak, Luminosity's only representative at this tournament, was coming into Cirque du CFL 4 as the 5th seed, and started off the weekend by sweeping pools flawlessly, moving into top 64 and defeating Dominator 3-1, a victory that is a lot more impressive when you consider that Dominator defeated Hurt in Losers bracket, before next moving on and defeating Cola in a Game 5 set. Moving into winners quarterfinals, Tweak went up against Mia, a runback from the Invitational, but it didn't go the same as it did back then, with Mia clutching out the set in a Game 5 and casting Tweak down into Losers, where he then had a close call against TM7 Zap, clutching out a Game 5 to enter into Losers side top 8, in order to go up against Spargo. And in the end, Spargo defeated Tweak 3-1, moving on in bracket and eliminating Tweak at 7th place as the 5th seed. It's now time for us to look at the other side of Losers 8s, Peanut vs Lima. Peanut, who has historic good performances at Cirque du CFL tournaments, was coming into this one as the 15th seed, starting off the weekend by getting through pools, though not flawlessly, dropping a game to Anthony, before moving on in bracket and defeating both Kobe and Hurt in 3-1 victories. After these phenomenal wins, Peanut moved into winners quarterfinals and lost a Game 5 to Light, dropping into Losers and lastly defeating Goblin 3-1 to make it into Losers side top 8. Lima, coming off of a phenomenal second place finish at the Invitational 3, was coming into Cirque du CFL 4 as the 11th seed, and he started off the weekend absolutely flawlessly, not only sweeping pools, but also defeating both T.O. Kiki and Osh 9's Me Brawler, both without dropping a game. After moving into winners quarterfinals, Lima lost to Shattuck 3-0, dropping into Losers and then winning just one more set against Cola in a 3-0 sweep, making it into Losers side top 8 in order to go up against Peanut. And in the end, Lima defeated Peanut 3-1, moving on in bracket and eliminating Peanut at 7th place as the 15th seed after a phenomenal run. Before we can catch up with Spargo and Lima in losers bracket though, we have to take a look up at winner semifinals. Those sets being T versus Mia and Light versus Shattuck. Let's go ahead and start with Light and Shattuck. Light, the reigning champion from the Invitational 3, was coming into Cirque 4 as the 7th seed, and started off the weekend by getting through pools, though not flawlessly, dropping a game to Koalax on the way into top 64, where Light then defeated Danny and Doramigi, both in 3-1s. Moving into winners quarterfinals, where Light then clutched out a Game 5 set against Peanut to make it into winners side top 8. Shattuck was coming into the tournament as the 3rd seed, and absolutely swept his bracket on the way into top 8, sweeping pools, top 64, and top 32, with 3-0 wins over Viri, Aaron, and Lima on the way. And with no games dropped so far, Shattuck moved into winners semifinals, in order to go up against Light. And ultimately, Light defeated Shattuck 3-0, moving into winners finals and casting Shattuck down into losers quarters to go up against Spargo. But before we see that set, we have to see the other side of winners semis. T versus Mia. Mia was coming into the tournament as the 4th seed, starting off the weekend by sweeping pools flawlessly and then moving into top 64 and defeating Stars 3-0, before having 2 back-to-back Game 5 sets against both Beast Mode Paul and Tweak, clutching them both out to make it into winners side top 8. And lastly, T, the breakout star from the Invitational 3, was entering into the tournament as the 9th seed, starting off the weekend by getting through pools, though not flawlessly, dropping a game in his first set to freaking boring, but then moving on anyways and defeating TM7 Zap 3-1, benefiting from Zomba's DQ. And if you're wondering why Zomba DQ'd, you should go ask Hungrybox. I'm sure he's got the answer to that. Anyways, T lastly moved into winners quarterfinals and clutched out a Game 5 set against Spargo, making it into winners side top 8 in order to go up against Mia. And in a close Game 5 set, Mia defeated T 3-2, moving into winners finals against Light and casting T down into losers bracket, in order to face off against Lima. And since we're talking about that set already, let's just go watch it now, shall we? And in yet another close Game 5, Lima defeated T 3-2, moving on in bracket and eliminating T at 5th place as the 9th seed, after a really good weekend. Lima now sat comfortably in loser semifinals. And to see who else would make it here, let's take a look at the other side of losers quarters. Shattuck versus Spargo. And in the end, Spargo defeated Shattuck 3-1, moving on in bracket and eliminating Shattuck at 5th place as the 3rd seed. Spargo now advanced into loser semifinals, where Lima awaited him. And ultimately, Lima defeated Spargo's Aegis in a 3-1 victory, moving on in bracket and eliminating Spargo at 4th place as the number 1 seed of the tournament. Lima now sat comfortably in losers finals, awaiting the resolution of winners finals, Mia versus Light. And in the end, Mia defeated Light in a 3-0 sweep. That meant that Mia moved into grand finals from winner's side, and Light was cast into losers finals for the run back from Litvitational Grands against Lima. And in yet another close Game 5 set, Lima clutched it out over Light 3-2, moving on in bracket and eliminating Light at 3rd place as the 7th seed, after he also had a really good weekend. Lima now advanced into grand finals from loser's side, in order to go up against the person who had been on a winner's bracket tear, Mia. And ultimately, Lima was able to reset the bracket in a Game 5, reverse 3-0ing Mia, but in the Grand Finals reset, Mia got his act together and 3-0'd Lima, eliminating him at 2nd place as the 11th seed, and with Mia winning Cirque du CFL 4 as the 4th seed. This tournament, despite all of the things that did go wrong with it, was an entertaining watch, to be sure. And this weekend's dual majors of Litvitational and Cirque was really good for many players. Whereas Spargo was seen as the undisputed #1 this season, back-to-back underperformances now means that Mia is getting a lot closer to that #1 title. And when that time comes, you better believe that I'll be here to cover it. But for now, that's going to be it for today's video. Before I go, shout out to my patrons Seth Laster, Logan S, Persipalm, Wawa, Mr. Sinister, Happy Feet, Ocean Man, Mistybot, Diamond Blaze, and my Tutu patrons Iltis and Ben L. Additionally, shout out my YouTube members DJR Jr., Kirby Fan, Nexus, Loco Soco, and my Tier 2 member, Wu-Tang Forever. Lastly, extra special thanks to my Tier 3 supporters, Myriad MTG, who says Big D will make it out of his slump, Avadoon, who says Mr. Rice is the GOAT of Smash content, Iltis, who says MK Leo always comes back, Grant I Am, and Stormtrooper 101. If you want to support me using any of these methods, links in the description down below. Don't miss my next upload. But until then, I've been RisterMice, and thank you all so very much for watching.